Hello, folks. My name is Chris, but you can call me Ganhu or Chris. It doesn't matter. If I'm asking that question about the year of 2022, yeah, 2022 is kind of lame. The tail end of the year is just going into a death spiral, and I think 2023 is gonna be a pretty bad year. God willing, I'm wrong about that. But what about video games? Those are nice and fun to talk about and not existential. To be honest, I don't really know. I do a pretty bad job about keeping up with new releases. My most streamed game this year was Skyrim. Great Googling. Ah! I think the newest games I played this year were Pentiment, Modern Warfare 2, Sonic Frontiers because that was a gift, the Turtles game, and then Going Under, which came out in 2020. But it's the end of the year, and I figure, you know, you can't have the end of the year celebration without the end of the year top 10 list. I mean, what kind of YouTuber would I be if I didn't do this or react to random bullshit on TikTok? I don't do that, though. I do this. At least as of now. Before we get started, just want to remind you of a few things. Click the link tree, join my Discord, like this video, subscribe for more, and sit back. Here are the top 10 games I didn't play in 2022 and the reasons why I didn't play them. Sneaking in at number 10 is the much anticipated Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. Not to be confused with every single Pokemon Beep and Bop game of the last 10 years. The reason I haven't played this one is because I'm not really into Pokemon. I haven't played any of the other ones. There was a time in my life where I did have a need for Pokemon when I was a lot younger. I think the only other Pokemon game that I played was Pokemon Gold. And the only reason why I played that one was because someone who worked for my mom had a copy of the game for Game Boy Advance. So I had a copy of the game for Game Boy Advance. And that was that for Pokemon. No other games. The whole binder that I kept Pokemon cards in, lost. Don't know where it is, but I moved past it. And I probably won't be picking it back up anytime soon because this particular installment sounds like it was embarrassingly bad. And I know that the nice thing to do in this situation is to cut the devs some slack because the games have to come out around the TV shows and the merchandise, but that doesn't fix whatever this bullshit is. Saints Row was a game franchise I cared about when the third installment came out because it was edgy, it was crass. My favorite YouTubers were playing it, and it was the one game, save for Grand Theft Auto, that my parents wouldn't let me play. Upon finally playing Saints Row 3 and 4, I realized why I was so attracted to it as a teenager. Because it was made for teenagers. A lot of the game's humor relies on the wackiness of the situations or the expletive-ridden script. It's the kind of game that the same demographic that watches Rick and Morty would find funny, and if that joke offends you, you should stop fucking watching Rick and Morty. Oh my god, find a better TV show to watch. And this Saints Row game didn't seem to have much to offer other than a backward step from the silliness of its predecessors, which is weird because that was like the whole game's identity. And Saints Row always got compared to games like Grand Theft Auto or Far Cry, and even games like that, which are a little more straightforward, had some wacky shit in there too. And I think that's what set Saints Row apart, was because it really leaned into how balls to the wall they were, and now they don't even have that. So what's the point? It's just another generic third-person shooter that I'd rather not waste my money on when I could use my money on a different game that I get much more enjoyment out of. Okay, now on to number 8. Goat Simulator? They made a third one? They made a second one? Okay, well, I guess I didn't play this one because I just learned it existed. I guess it's not totally true. I mean, there was the Dead Island 2 parody trailer they did earlier this year that people were sure to send me and to ping me about on Discord because I'm the fucking Dead Island guy, and hey, they did the thing with the Dead Island trailer. I don't care anymore. I think the internet had a time and a place for goat-centric humor, and I think we're well past that point. You know, we're always gonna have a need and a place for cats. That's why games like Stray do so well. But games like Goat Simulator, you know, we're not in 2014 anymore. You know, maybe I'm the asshole for not giving this game a shot. Maybe it really is worth it, but hey, you know what? It's my loss. finally, the long-awaited and definitely necessary sequel to everyone's least favorite hero shooter. Main reason why I didn't pick up Overwatch 2 is because I know what it's like to play Overwatch. It just isn't that fun. I have some fun messing around with Junkrat, but I have much better hero shooters to spend my time with. At least that's what I thought before I moved on to Siege. And then I realized I fucking hate playing games like this. I hate competitive hero-based shooters. Like, I don't want to have to think about the team composition or anything like that outside of Team Fortress 2. If it gets any more complicated than that, I'm gonna scream, dude. Another reason why I didn't pick up Overwatch 2 just to try it was because it came out around the same time that I was still in the trenches with my no Activision game promise that I made myself. And then, another game came out. I am sorry to all women for playing Modern Warfare 2. It is very fun, though. Stop! Don't kill me! Number 6 goes to another game that I didn't realize existed until like the week it came out. Neon White was another game unveiled at Summer Game Fest earlier this year, and it looked really interesting. You know, even coming from me, a guy who likes to play a lot of shooters, a lot of them my eyes just glaze over because they have very similar identities or they don't have enough to offer to differentiate themselves. And then a game like Neon White comes out, and it's half a card game. I'm not one to enjoy card games, but I do like shooters. And you know, if you put a little bit of card game in your shooter, a little bit of shooter in your card game, I'm willing to give whatever genre fusion you got cooked up a try. You sit me down at an Asian fusion restaurant, some gentrified progressive spot, and they bring me a hamburger with fried tempura on it, I'm eating it, okay? That is until I heard some of the dialogue from the game.
Is that the alt girl I saw from earlier?
Yeah, that's like a really inconsequential thing in the grand scheme of things if you're like a game developer, but if it's bad enough, I can promise you I will not be playing your game. I fucking won't. That's probably an extremely petty reason to not try the game. After all, I'm a Borderlands dialogue apologist, so I should have like better tolerance for bad dialogue, I guess. So maybe I'll give it a try. That's what you're gonna find out in this video. I end a lot of these segments with, oh, well, maybe I'll give the game a try. Okay, that's not useful now. Speaking of Borderlands, number 5 goes to, yet again, another goddamn Borderlands game. Why does Gearbox want this to be their flagship franchise? Why? Does it really sell that well still? Fucking throw in the Tales from the Borderlands game that came out this year on there too. Yeah, did you know that there was a Tales from the Borderlands game that came out this year? I haven't played the first one. I hear they're good, that they're actual good Borderlands games. I haven't played it. I know I just talked at length about cringy dialogue being a deciding factor for me to not play a game sometimes, which doesn't make sense because I put Borderlands 2 in my top 10 games of the decade video. What the hell was I doing? And I think Borderlands 2 gets away with a lot of it, but not all Borderlands games, because I had to completely cold turkey quit Borderlands 3. Like I just could not take it in Borderlands 3. And ever since then, I gave up on the Borderlands franchise. I don't see a reason to come back to it now. I also don't know if I need to have played the other Borderlands games to understand what's going on in Tiny Tina's. And I know people like the Tiny Tina DLC from Borderlands 2, but man, I don't know. It's just, that is like primo, like Marvelism dialogue, like the type of, this is how this thing is supposed to be, says the dumb character. No, that's not how that thing's supposed to go at all. And that's the whole joke. That's most of the humor in those games, aside from butt, poop, fart, poop, unicorn jokes. I'm not 7, okay? I'm not 7 years old. That's not impressive to me. Hey, they call me the Dead Island guy for a reason. I'm not the Dying Light guy. They don't call me the Dead Island guy. I call me the Dead Island guy. Pretty easy reason why I didn't play Dying Light 2. I didn't play the first Dying Light. And I know for a lot of games, a lot of franchises, you can pick up at a later installment in the franchise and not really worry about continuity issues. That's like Borderlands 2. That's everybody who's played any Fallout game ever. I'm not super compelled to play Dying Light. After my experience with finishing Dead Island, a game that I know is not the same game, I don't need polish around game mechanics I know I don't love. I don't love that every video game has crafting systems and fucking parkour and... No. Okay? Honey, no. Number 3, Stray. I'm a kitty, kitty, kitty. I'm a cat. Can't mess with me. You're gonna get scratched. Is that how they do it? Is that how they do it in Fortnite? Number 2, God of War Ragnarok. This game is new enough to where I don't think it's crazy that I haven't played it yet, but I also haven't played the first God of War. No, wait. No, I did. I did play the first God of War. I mean, God of War 2018. I fucking hate that this is how we name shit now. I hate it. Just stop. Just call it the 5th one, the 6th one, the 7th. Why? Why do you have to name it the first one? I've actually been seeing some pretty mixed things about this newest God of War game, particularly about the cringe dialogue. Uh-oh, that's my Achilles heel. Don't show me cringe dialogue. Contrary to what I've said throughout this video, that's not like a make or break in most cases. It has to be like exceptionally bad. And from what I've been hearing, it sounds like it's a little all over the place. People can't even make up their mind if that's what they feel about the dialogue. I've also heard that it's kind of hand-holdy during puzzles. And man, I don't care. My second favorite game of the decade last decade was Red Dead 2, which is like the most hand-holdy video game ever. If there are other elements that outweigh certain bad elements of a game, I don't give a shit. I'm playing it, dude. So yeah, it's just a matter of time before I pick up God of War and I actually give it a shot, because it looks interesting. I want to play it. And number 1, the number 1 spot goes to Elden Ring. It's Elden Ring, guys. This one isn't a mystery. I just don't like Souls-like games. I know I'm a fake gamer. I'm a casual gamer. I play shooters. Bite me, nerd. You're a nerd. You give a shit about what kind of video games I play? I get laid, dude. I don't care. Yeah, listen, I know I'm missing out on what some people call some of the greatest games ever made. All the ones by From Software. I'm not really into the whole, this game is notoriously hard angle games, except for like Hotline Miami. Fuck! Which is funny, admittedly, because these games might be closer to actual RPGs rather than newer Fallouts are. But I don't know. I think the only Souls-like game I've ever played is Jedi Fallen Order, and I know it's probably not even a fucking Souls-like. The combat looks like it, the skill progression is different. I know it looks similar to me. If it looks like a duck and acts like a duck, I don't think I need to know the specific genus, species, whatever it is. I'm not a veterinarian. I don't need to know what specific breed of duck it is. I'm not a duck expert. So
were these video games from 2022 lame?
No, absolutely not. A lot of these games are probably going to get Game of the Year awards around award season. That doesn't mean they're necessarily good. There are some in here that won't get that recognition that players will unanimously agree are great games, and then there's other games in here where it's like, why would I even bother? That's a good cop-out answer. Pat myself on the back for giving a non-answer at the end of the video. Here are the I recorded that part. I don't need to do this. Bye. Bye.